Right now, I have thoughts in my brain, and I want to get them out into the public sphere so that you can hear them, digest them, and decide if they have value. And this entire podcast that you're about to hear, that's going to take 5 to 10 minutes, however the fuck long it takes, this thought is already completely done and has been solidified in my mind for weeks now. And I just haven't found the time to sit down and record it. And now that I'm sitting down and recording it, I'm going to take this thought that is already fully formed, fully reasoned out, as much as I have, and it now needs to be forcibly expelled from my mind through my physical mouth into this microphone that can pick up the sound waves, which can then be retransmitted to you and be absorbed through your ears into your brain. So the entire time of me trying to do a simple task, take an idea and give it to you, which is should be instantaneously, is artificially constrained by the fact that we exist as pieces of meat. And I fucking hate it. This is the epitome of everything I despise about life. It came to me a few weeks ago when I realized, oh my god, I've always been a huge fan of transhumanism. I've always had a deeply rooted fear of being a biological life form in a world where our technology is completely unable to take care of these biological systems that keep me alive. And one of these days, these biological systems that I have no real control over is going to fail, and human ingenuity has not found a way to keep them going in any meaningful way. So I will expire inevitably due to being a piece of meat. And this fear is what I thought was the root of that, was just I was afraid to die. No, it's not even that. That is a symptom of an even deeper thing. It is that my brain is hamstrung by being physical. I have ideas constantly. We all have ideas constantly. And while the idea is instant, the implementation has to be done through our 5 senses and our pathetic, inefficient, disgusting meat bodies. And it takes something that can be thought of in an instant and take decades to produce. This is the most inefficient tool we have, is ourselves. It's fucking ludicrous. I have an entire idea for a comic book and an animation that I'd like to make. It's all plotted out in my brain. It took maybe an hour to think of, but it is going to take me months and months and months to transcribe this complete idea into meat space through my pathetic body. And not only that, the idea will never be realized in its actual form because my physical body is incapable of recreating the actual thought the way that it is in my brain. This is livid to me. It's just so aggravating that I am hamstrung by being a fucking human. It is so unfucking fortunate, because how much creativity, how many great ideas have been lost to time because of us being meat? How many great novels were never written? How many great paintings were never painted? How many incredible stories were never told? How many great ideas were never implemented because the unfortunate reality of having to focus the thought into the meat space with these inefficient tools we have at our disposal meant that the effort was just not worth doing to so many people. It's infuriating that we have not yet found a way to become transhuman, to ascend to a higher degree of existence where our thoughts can become tangible as quickly as they are conceived. We haven't done it. We don't seem to have any desire to do it. And worse still, we've all fetishized this inefficiency oh man, he worked so long and so hard to make this thing. That is a sign of human inefficiency. You don't be impressed by it. Okay, you can be impressed by it, but please be impressed by it, but also understand the inherent disgust that we should all feel for the fact that we're trapped in meat cages and our brains have to insipidly try and produce a broken, half-hearted, half-assed facsimile of what we're actually thinking out into the world. It's so broken and bullshit, and I hate it. It's the worst. Oh my fucking god. The things I could do if my brain could actualize its thoughts in real time instead of having to be hamstrung by my own physical inefficiencies. Please give me a robot body, or please upload my consciousness to the internet, or at least have me interface with digital technology so this stuff can be output instantaneously. Jesus fucking Christ. This might be the most autistic podcast I've ever made, but this is literally something that drives me insane. That I know I'm going to die unfulfilled because ideas are instant in their formation and almost eternal in the amount of time it takes to actually actualize. So there's just no way. There's no way I can keep up. There's more ideas form faster than they can be actualized, which means I will never be able to get everything out of my brain and onto the table. It'll just never happen. It's just impossible. There's no way to close the gap. The gap is expanding exponentially faster the longer I stay alive, and there's just no way to keep up. So I just have to make decisions. I have to be like, well, here's a cool idea, but I have to leave it on the cutting room floor because I have to prioritize and pick one thing over another, which means like 99.9% of my ideas that I still like will never see the light of day because I'm hamstrung by fucking meat. 100, 200, 1,000 years from now, they're going to look back at this primitive, archaic way of creating things and laugh at our pathetic, hamstrung, broken way of creating. It's just, they're going to laugh. They're going to laugh. They're going to laugh from inside the Matrix. And you know what? We deserve it. We deserve it because we didn't prioritize trying to fix this. It's enraging. I hate it. 7 minutes to do something that I thought of in an instant. Fuck. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode of the Hyperbolic Whine Chamber. In addition to doing podcasts, I also make a bunch of 3D models and animations, which you can check out at twitter.com/TommyOliverSays. I'm also making a video game called Azumi and the Vertical Slice, and I have a simple game out right now called Ninja Suffering. You can check those out linked on said Twitter profile. If you want to help support the show and keep me making it and keeping it ad-free, you can check out patreon.com/polystation2 or subscribestar.com/Tom Oliver. Patrons have access to over 70 bonus podcasts, so if you like this podcast and want more right now, that's the place to do it. Thanks again for listening. This podcast updates 3 days a week, ideally, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so feel free to subscribe on your preferred platform so you can catch new episodes as they come out. And patrons get episodes a week early. That's all I got for now. Have a good one.